Here's tonight's star-studded ESPN NBA doubleheader. Ant-Man and the T-Wolves finish up a 3-game road trip against Jalen Brunson and the Knicks, 7:30 Eastern, and then Luka and the Lakers host Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. Countdown Crew will get us all started at 7 Eastern. Speaking of hoops, let's talk about someone who's putting up good numbers. That would be Dak Prescott. You're like you said, speaking of hoops. That's because Draymond Green is actually commenting on the Dallas Cowboys and what he's seen out of Dak Prescott. Draymond Green went on the Schultz Report podcast, shared some, let's call it sharp words about the Cowboy signal caller. Listen to this.
He getting some numbers and they stink. Dak's a bum.
He's not a bum, dog. He's a really good quarterback.
No, he's a bum. They'll never win with that. I won 4 championships, Jordan. So you got to understand, when I say bum, I'm not saying Dak Prescott isn't a good NFL quarterback. Of course he's a good NFL quarterback. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying when the money's on the line, when it's for all the marbles, who are you? He a bum.
Now, listen, we're used to Draymond Green saying things like this. This is what he does. He trash talks, right? But sharp words about someone who doesn't play in your sport, I don't know that Dak Prescott's going to have the chance to rebuttal against Draymond Green. Stephen A., what'd you think?
Well, first of all, I'm very, very upset and disappointed with Draymond Green because he didn't give me credit. He got that from me. He got that from me. I'm holding on to that lie, Swagoo. I'm holding on to that. I mean, he got it from me. Who the hell you think been saying that kind of stuff? That would be me. I'm the one that's been pointing out about how Dak Prescott don't show up when it counts most. But in all seriousness, seriously, I was glad that he clarified that, he's not calling him a bum because you don't want to hear, from one athlete to another, knowing what it takes to be great. You're Draymond Green. You're a future Hall of Famer without question. You're a 4-time champion. You don't want to hear somebody like that talking about another athlete, even though it's in a different sport, because they have an understanding of what it takes to get to that level more so than me or anybody else that hasn't played would. But I appreciated the clarification. He's not saying that he can't play. He's not saying that he can't ball. What he's saying is that when the money's on the line, you know what, this brother shows up. And then we got to remember just a couple of weeks ago when Draymond Green was in a post-game press conference after Steph Curry, the greatest shooter God has ever created, put on a show. And what did Draymond say? Draymond said, quote, he said, he's a quiet dude, really doesn't bother nobody, doesn't say much. He said, but he loves the show. When it's time to put on a show, Steph Curry shows up. Now, you are Draymond Green, and you have been in the league for over a decade. That has been the dude that you have played with your entire career. And it happens to be a dude that's a 4-time champion, that's a 2-time league MVP, that is the greatest shooter God ever created, that is a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, the babyface assassin, universally recognized as one of the greatest talents the sport has ever witnessed, who shows up when it counts. That's what Draymond Green is accustomed to seeing. That is what he knows. And he is certainly qualified to say what he said. It's just that you would have preferred that he was a little bit nicer to a contemporary in professional sports. That's all.
Swagoo.
Yeah, a bum is a bit much. And comparing the two sports is idiotic, number one. If you have a gripe with Dak about not playing well in the playoffs, I can agree with that. But there are variables that happens in a football game that don't take place in a basketball game. And no, I'm not sitting here defending Dak about how great he's been in the playoffs, but there's been a lot of other awful things that have happened in the playoffs with the Dallas Cowboys as well in these particular games, like Jordan Love putting up over 40 at home when their defense was supposed to be the calling card to being on their way to a Super Bowl. Here's the deal, though. Draymond made and to your point, Stephen A., he made the point about being a 4-time champion and winning championships, and when it's on the line, Dak doesn't show up. You can attest that to Dak Prescott. You can put that in his wheelhouse. You have done many a times. It's just the respect of calling a dude a bum that has played football at the level in which he's played.
Right.
If you just attributing it to the playoffs, being a bum is kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy to say.
Yeah.
And it's a bit rich coming from Draymond Green, who's played with arguably a top 5 player to ever play in the NBA, to come out and say that like he's been the catalyst. He's been very important. He's been a big part of what they've done championship-wise, not taking that away from him. But Dak Prescott would be the Steph Curry to the team and the way that it's supposed to go. It's just football is completely different when it comes to trying to win a championship, and it's not always attributed to the quarterback's performance. I'm going to leave that there.
Well, first off, I can see maybe if you said something after a playoff game in which Dak played poorly. Regular season against Arizona, where the Cowboys couldn't stop the Cardinals under any circumstances, that is a little rough. You can't say that. And let me say one other thing about Draymond Green. And I saw the team in person forever. He wouldn't even play on the 86 Celtics front court with Walton and Bird and McHale and Parrish. He wouldn't play.
Doggy.
He wouldn't. He would not play.
Like what?
He would not play in the
Doggy,
so the
come
idea.
on, man.
I mean, no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't, Swagoo. I mean, Bird, Parrish, McHale,
I know, Doggy.
No chance. He wouldn't even play in the team. I tell you that they were so good. He was so good. So listen, he's done a great job.
Hold on, Doggy. Doggy, hold on. Hold on. Doggy, hold on.
Yeah, I'm
hold
listening.
on. Let's contextualize. Like now you're talking about basketball and Draymond. Bro, Draymond has been as important to those championships as anybody.
No,
let's not diminish what he's meant to Golden State.
He's
trying
their
to,
identity.
defend
I
that.
understand
You
that.
shouldn't have said Dak was a bum. But I don't think they have 4 championships without Draymond.
I'm not
Green
sure
on
if
that team.
I don't know.
They
if
don't.
Yeah.
I just.
Hold on.
I totally.
I'm not.
Come on, dog.
Let me. Swagger, let me take
with
this.
Draymond,
Swagger, let me take this.
Let's not disrespect the dude
Right.
in the basketball context.
See, that's what Doggy does. That's what Doggy does. Draymond Green went a bit far by using the word bum. We know
Yes.
that, okay? Because Dak Prescott is not a bum.
Yes.
Dak Prescott can ball. Okay, he hasn't shown, but then Draymond clarified he's talking about big moments. And big moments, there have been big moments that Dak Prescott has not shown up, but there have been other moments where he has shown up. So a bum is a bit excessive. We get that part, okay? But let's not use that as an excuse to try to act like you don't know who the hell Draymond is. Ask Steph Curry who Draymond is.
Yeah, come on.
Ask Steph Curry
Well,
what
let me ask
Draymond
you a
means.
question. We're gonna get into
him.
this? You wanna
hold
get into this now?
Hold on. Last point. You know who you talking to. You brought up Bird and McHale and Parrish
Not as good as those
with
guys.
Walton coming off the bench.
Right.
You do know that Jerry Sitching was getting 19 minutes a game for that 19.
As a third guard,
Right.
As a third, Draymond's
No,
not
wait a
going to
minute.
play in the back.
All I'm saying to you, there's no shame in saying Steve Kerr. By the way, you argued with me when I told you that Steve Kerr could easily go down as one of the top 6 coaches in the history of basketball. You argued with me about that.
That's
so you got there's something wrong with you. That's not strong. Look at Steve Kerr's resume. The bottom line is
Stephen
this.
A.
When you look
Stephen
at Draymond, there's no shame. Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, arguably the greatest power forward. 15 feet and in, the greatest power forward. Larry Bird is Larry Bird. Bill Walton, if it wasn't for his foot injury, would have been one of them, and still was recognized in his prime as one of the greatest centers to have ever lived. You act like saying that Draymond Green wouldn't play before them is shameful. Those guys were Hall of Famers. They weren't scrubs.
He is the fourth.
But
He's the
let me
fourth
bring this
wheel
back.
on
Shay,
these Golden
Shay.
State teams.
Okay, but let's stay.
Please.
You're
Say,
going
let me
like
bring this
so
back.
far
Let
back.
me
Okay,
bring
go
this
ahead,
back.
Marcus. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me bring this back. Draymond Green shouldn't have called Dak Prescott a bum. I think we all can agree with that. And here's the other thing. This is why I hate the comparison when he brought up Steph Curry and Stephen A. You brought it up and all of that. Bro, you get one game in the playoffs. You get one opportunity, right? You either own that day or you're off. You either having success or you're not. That's why I hate this comparison with football players and basketball players. You get a 7-game series. You can have a bad night and come back and look like Jordan the next night, and everybody will forget about the night before. So let's not get into this comparison game. And that's what I hate about what Draymond said. Like, this is completely different. You know why football is America's game? Because when you get to the playoffs, it's do or die. It's do or die for 3 hours, one game in the playoffs. The best team don't always win. Usually in basketball, the best team wins the championship majority of the time. We can all agree. Very rarely do you have an underdog come out of the blue and win in the NBA. It's usually reserved for the best team because you have multiple opportunities to win a series and another series and the NBA championship. So let's not trip on that part. That's no comparison. Calling Dak a bum was out of line, bro.
Calling him a bum was out of line, but Swagoo, let me check you on something, okay? Draymond Green has more championship wins than Dak Prescott has playoff wins. Let's call that what it is. It's two different worlds, and I understand that. But you know this as well as I do. And again, Draymond should not have called him a bum. Dak Prescott is not a bum, okay? Not anything close, okay? We got that part, okay? It was a bit excessive, even though Draymond did come back and qualify and clarify what he meant, all right? But here's the deal. When you look at a Dak Prescott, when you look at those moments, you could bring up sports all you want to, different sports, baseball, basketball, football. Doggy, you know this. We're talking moments. Now, there's nothing wrong with drawing those comparisons. Jordan with the ball in his hands against Byron Russell. Larry Bird with the ball in his hands with the game on the line. Magic Johnson. By the way, let me tell you this about basketball. Magic Johnson. Do you remember, Doggy will remember this, Magic Johnson, part of the greatness was him coming back and winning a championship after he had turned the ball over not once, not twice, but 3 separate occasions to Dennis Johnson. All right, in the NBA Finals, in a Game 7 that lost the championship where he was crying in the shower thereafter. He had to come back from that. I'm just saying, in the world of sports, regardless of what sport it is, let's at least acknowledge that what we're talking about is moments. Because we know that you can't compare the sports.
Yeah.
Football is entirely different than basketball.
Okay.
But I'm talking about you
but SA,
in the moment
SA.
when it's called upon for you to step up.
Last word. Go ahead, Marcus. Last word.
SA. Can we not agree that in football you get one moment and you get 7 in basketball? Can we not agree on that? You could be a bum in the first game of the series and be phenomenal in the second game of the series.
But that's not what we're talking about.
And your team wins,
I got it.
and nobody remembers the first game. That's my point, though.
You're not wrong, but I brought up the Game 7 for a reason. I brought up the Game 7 for a reason. I brought up a closeout moment for a reason. I'm just saying moments are moments. We know what those moments are when they show it to us, when it hits us. And those moments is what we're comparing. That's all I'm saying. Nothing more than that. Go ahead, Doggy.
Listen, Draymond Green opened up this can of worms for the comparison when he made the comment after a regular season game. Now, Dak Prescott has not been good in the last 2 games. He hasn't been great in the playoffs. A bum is too strong. We all agree on that. Draymond, no more until after he loses a playoff game or something. Then we can reopen this can of worms. Stephen A. actually handed off his A-list to Jeff Saturday yesterday. I don't know if you know this. So we didn't do the Stephen's A-list. We did Jeff Saturday's.